Hey everybody, this is up on the Tabletop Gaming Guild, and today I'm going to be bringing you a review of Dust Warfare here by Fantasy Flight Games. So let's take you down to the table, kind of show you through the book to see what you're actually getting into with this. Bring it back up for my final thoughts. Alright, so down here we have our copy of Dust Warfare. This is a miniature game by Fantasy Flight Games. This is the core book for it. It is used with their specific line of miniatures, but there are other lines of miniatures that could work with that. A few of them, such as like Conflict 47 from Warlord would be one, and there's a lot of 3D printing manufacturers out there also. But let's take a quick look on the inside here. So, as you can see on the inside, we've got really nice colorful artwork. You're going to see that all through here. Created by and all that good stuff here. Table of contents for it, which is always really nice. The other thing that is really nice with these books, whenever they have them available, is quick references and an index. Super nice. If you're looking for something specific, you can quickly reference to that page, either with a table of contents or the index. So at the very beginning, you're going to see broken down into a couple different chapters. So the introduction, how you're going to use this book. Big thing here is the history of Dust and where it diverted from actual history. Some really neat reading in there. I read through that. So this book here, you're going to have the big three that's fighting the war here. So you have the Allies, you have the Axis, and you have the Sino-Soviet Union. So, and the map of here, 1947 is where the game is taking place in, and you can see this is where everything is kind of broken up and where countries are aligned. So then you're actually into the game itself. The basic training section of it is not very long at all. So the basic training is just, these are what we call figures. This is the base, required components, how you would measure moving. If you're familiar with miniature games, a lot of these are going to be very basic and simple for you to really pick up. There is a custom characterization icons. So when you see these later, as they talk about the different units, you're going to see this is what they're talking about and the references to that. Again, lots of color pictures that are really nice. Then breakdown of the weapons, different units, and then into the actual game. Turn summary, which is super important. Always get a player aid whenever you play any of these kind of games. Take it from me, I've played many different style of miniature games. Player aids are super key. You can find hundreds made by either official channels or by people that play the game. Get them, they're going to be very important. But here's going to be the breakdown here of everything in that. So summary, game terms of, we're talking about activation, what does that mean? If we're talking about reactions, what does that mean? Good examples laid out into it. Going into like super detail, I'm not going to do that. This is just kind of a really brief overview. What you're getting into it. How well is it laid out? Unit phase. So the turns are breakdown by different phases. So what does that mean? So during your unit phase, this is what you're going to be doing. Actions, special actions. You can have reactions. And then you're getting into the end phase. What does a move action require? So everything is broken down really nicely into small sections. So if you're ever lost and go, all right, I am in the attack action and I can't remember, go to that section and it's going to break it down. What do I need to figure? Well, right now, you pick a target, determine line of sight. It's broken down very nicely. I wish a lot more books and a lot more games would take this style or approach into the breaking down of the turn sequence. It makes it really nice to follow along. And again, here, like suppression, retreat, what happens in those? Now, because it is a Weird World War II, there are heavy walkers, and they do have their own special little rule set in here. So one cool thing, they have battle with mills, so you can kind of follow along, and it's going to give you like little things that are happening, what's going on there. This chapter here, chapter 3, chapter they call Spec Ops. So all that is special abilities for units, and it's all broken down right through here. You're going to see a special ability, bam, What does that do? It's in this section. Some weapons are going to have special abilities. Boom, right here. And then you're going to have the hero section with their special abilities also. And then we're talking about the battles, how those actually play out, how you're going to choose forces, objectives. This is designed as a tournament scenario, which means tournament style scenarios, which means this is a point buy system. What does that mean? That all units that you take are going to have a number of points that are going to be associated to that. So when you're playing a game, you're going to be playing against somebody, you're going to have a predetermined number of points, like 750 or something like that if you're talking like bolt action. 1,000. You're going to determine your points, and then you're going to have different scenarios, how you're going to do deployments, conditions, terrains, talking all about that stuff. You can even do campaign scenarios. We do have campaign books that are available for this also. So you can see all that and different things to set it up. These are different types of scenarios that you can actually do. Again, cool full color pictures. Now this back 2 sections here is going to talk about the allies, some really cool stuff about them, some of their units and the different weapons that they're using. And the big thing here is how we're going to select our different platoons that we're going to do. You can see we can do upgrades for them, special things. This would be a combat platoon, how you would build it up by base, and there's a little bit of leeway with that. But you can see right here, so command squad, it's going to have all this stuff. There's 2 soldiers in it. Base cost 25, and it's going to tell you everything that's all in that. Elites, and it's just going to break down your different assaults. And skip ahead of here. So, and then some of the walkers, heavy walkers, and then into the back section of the ally section here is heroes that they can have. They have a couple special heroes and some cool things that they do. And then we have the Axis here, which is the Germans for that. And again, it's broken down exactly the same way. So this would be a strong grenadier platoon, breakdown of the different units. So recon grenadiers, there's laser grenadiers. They've got zombies, Axis guerrillas, all sorts of cool stuff into it. You know, heavy laser grenadiers, walkers. And again, you got the special heroes at the very end here. And as I said earlier, really, really nice index at the very end. If you want to break down just the actual weapons, all listed right there from both sides. And then you got some markers which you could just photocopy in there. But that's the book here. Again, it is laid out really, really nicely, really easy to follow along with that game. And if you're really into weird World War II, this would be something to look at, especially if like something like Conflict 47 is not kind of your style. You're not a big fan of, you know, the bolt action kind of style, which is that's based off of. This would be something for you to look at here. I'm going to bring you up and give you my final thoughts here on Dust Warfare. Alright, so my final thoughts here on Dust Warfare. So if you're into like the alternates, World War II, the Weird World War, this is a good one for you to look at. The other big one, Conflict 47, you know, exists out there from Warlord, but there seems to be some strong opinions on whether you like the bolt action system or you don't. So if you don't, but you want to get into something, you know, like this would be a good alternative for you. At the time of this recording, it unfortunately is out of print from Fantasy Flight, but there are copies of this readily available at a lot of different places. So it is still able to be found. And also, even though it says here that it's designed for dust miniatures, those are getting harder and harder to find, but there are alternatives for you to do that. So you can use this system still, even though it is out of print. So fear not, you still can do this. Again, the rules are laid out really, really nicely, and it's really easy to pick up and play. So if you're into, you know, this style, this, you know, alternate history, and you want to give this a go, I recommend getting this. You can, you know, get it fairly cheap since it's out of print. You're not going to spend a lot to get into this, and give it a go. But until later, this is Evan with Tabletop Gaming Guild. Have a good night.